Today, I'm going to be demonstrating the rollover exercise on the Pilates springboard. I have my longer springs set to a level 5 with my roll back bar attached to the board. We're going to begin with the feet over top of the bar, so the bar is grazing across the back of the legs. We're going to extend the legs to a 60-degree angle and then roll over, flex through the feet, and roll down one vertebrae at a time. So we start with a toes pointed, legs zipped together, peel up the vertebrae of the spine as we roll over. Take the feet about the width of the hips and dorsiflex through the feet as you come back down. You can also reverse this motion, starting out with your feet separated about hip distance apart with your toes pointed as you roll over, and then flexing through the feet, bringing the legs close together, zipped together as you roll down one vertebrae at a time. Today I'm just showing it in one direction, but that is another variation. Normally when we do this exercise on the mat, our hands are placed firmly into the mat. Now we've lost that stability as we hold on to the roll back bar. So you can see that it takes more of a press through the arms as you roll over and roll back down. We exhale through the exertion of this exercise, so as you round the trunk and roll over, peeling the spine off the mat and bringing the legs up and over, you rest your body weight onto your shoulder girdle, keeping the legs parallel to the mat. Rather than initially dipping those toes down any lower, the legs stay in a parallel position. So we want to exhale as we're peeling over. You can inhale as you change your leg position, and then we're going to exhale as we melt down into the mat one vertebrae at a time. As you're rolling back down, you want to keep the legs close to the chest rather than lifting them up. We stay in that parallel position and then melt the vertebrae down one at a time, keeping those legs close to the chest and then returning out to that 60-degree angle. You do want to practice this exercise on the mat and make sure that you're comfortable with it before you get rid of that instability by putting your hands on the rollback bar and doing this on the springboard. But this is a fun variation and challenge, so if you love that rollover exercise, it's great to bring it onto the board. You also want to make sure, this sometimes can be uncomfortable if you're not warmed up through the body, particularly stretched out through the back of the legs and stretched out through the spine. So a little bit of background about this exercise. It's a spinal articulation exercise with an abdominal focus. The objectives here are to develop spinal articulation, to stretch the lower back and hamstrings, and to improve control of the abdominal muscles. That rollover motion should happen by the flexion of the spine, particularly the lower spine, which is achieved through deep abdominal contraction. We really need to avoid the tendency to use the momentum of the legs to roll over or thrusting the hips to force ourselves to get here. This isn't a hip thrust. We want to peel off of the mat using those abdominals and then melt back down with control. This is an intermediate level exercise that should likely be avoided if you have any kind of neck injuries or problems. While we do want, just like any inversion exercise, the body weight to come onto the shoulder blades in the shoulder girdle rather than up into the head and neck, we definitely want to avoid the weight going there. Still, sometimes it may be problematic for those with neck injuries, so you should definitely proceed with caution. Thanks so much for joining me here at the Benniebarre Pilates studio for a look at the rollover exercise on the springboard. And check out my channel for more Pilates springboard, Mat Pilates, and barre workouts, and much more. Make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And if you're wanting to take your Pilates springboard workouts to the next level in your study, you can join me on my Patreon account on the springboard tier, where we have a new springboard class posted each week, long 60-minute classes, and also some shorter 10-15-minute classes with tons of options for you for unique workouts on the springboard. All the links and information for my Patreon account is in the write-up below. In the meantime, here are some other videos that you might like. I'll see you guys next time in the studio.